Good morning, y'all. Wanted to do a small video this time on functions. I'm going to do a part two today. Part two is basically going to review what is a function, and then also we're going to talk about function and evaluating them in terms of finding out what the value of y is. Okay. So we talked about on Monday and Tuesday's classes. What is a function? A function is a direct relationship between an independent variable x and a dependent variable y, okay? Direct. So it means one to one. So basically, it's x goes to y, and that's how it would work. And so that would be a function. So the idea is, when is an input-output table a function? Okay, so we've been doing a lot of that work in coordinate points. So let me give you a couple examples here. Okay, so this is negative 11. And let's do, I don't know, let's do 2. This is 3 and 4. Okay, so this would be an opportunity for a function. So we said a function has a direct relationship between the independent variable, and dependent variable. So x is the independent and y is the dependent. So that would basically means that a negative 11 goes directly to 3, and negative 2 goes directly to 4. So that would be a function. So function, yes. Okay, so let me give you another example of this. Okay, so we give you x and y here. Let's do a negative 11 and 2 again, and then let's do 3 and 4. Okay, so this is not a function. Okay, so again, think about what that would be. What would be the converse of the opposite of that? So basically, it would be an independent variable that does not have a direct relationship with a dependent variable. Okay, so let's think about this one, 11. So it could have a variable that goes directly to 3, but they also would go directly to 4. Okay, so they'd have two relationships. The input has two outputs. Okay, and that would be sure. And that would be tell us that is not a function. Okay, so anytime the x value has two outputs, okay, or two y's that go to one input, that means it's not a function. Okay, so that's all you need to know. And then lastly, the last scenario that you could have is this. Okay, negative 11, 2, and then we put negative 3 here. Okay, so again, we could have, this is a function because it does have a direct relationship. Okay, so basically what I'm going to show you is that negative 11 goes to 3, negative 3, but also 2 goes to negative 3 as well. Okay, but that is a function because again, negative 11 has a direct relationship with 3, negative 3, and 2 has a negative relationship, direct relationship to negative 3 as well. So that would also be a function as well. Okay, so those are the three scenarios that you're possibly going to see if it's function, not a function, and vice versa. All right. So our new stuff for today is basically working on evaluating functions. Okay. So we're going to show you two different ideas and sets of them. Okay. So what we've talked about before is basically we've seen these problems. We have g of x equals x squared minus 5. Find g is negative 5. Okay, so what do we do in that situation? So before, we just substituted in for any of those x, negative 5. Okay, so g of negative 5 is basically negative 5 squared minus 5. Okay, so we do the math out here. So that would be positive 25, and that 25 minus 20 is 20. So g of negative 5 is equal to 20. Okay, and that's one we've done before. Okay, just another example of that. I know some people were having issues with that over with the math enrichment and the regular work. Same thing, so we're just going to plug in 7 for anywhere there's x. So f of 7 is equal to 7 squared minus 3 times 7. So 49 minus 21, and that gives us 38. So f of 7 equals 38. Okay, so those are the two easy problems that we had before, where we just basically had to substitute in values for x, and that will give us the answer. Okay, so let me go on to new stuff that we talked about in math enrichment, but we're going to talk about today in regular class and try to do some problems with this. Okay, and then we'll continue to practice over a longer period of time. Hopefully get really, really proficient at it. Okay, so now we have two linear equations, or whatever. We have one linear equation and we have one quadratic equation. It really doesn't matter at this point. Okay, but now we have h of negative 7 plus g of negative 7. So what happens in this situation? So just think about in terms of the h in the -7. That's going to be plugged in to wherever there's t, and the g of -7 is going to be plugged in wherever in that expression as well. So that's what you're doing at this point. So we're going to substitute in two different values for two different expressions. Okay, so let's do that here. So g, actually, sorry. So h -7 is -7 squared minus 5. Okay, and that works out to be 49 minus 5, which is 44. So h of -7 is 44. And then we do the other one, g of -7 equals 3 -7 plus 4. So it's -21 plus 4, which gives us the value of -17. Okay, so g of -7, 17. So at the end of this, we would add both of these numbers together. So the value of, so basically we'd add -7, h of -7 plus g of -7 is 44 minus 17. Okay, and that value would be, oh man, that'd be 27. Okay, so the adding of these two expressions together will give us a total value at the end of 27. So again, now what we're doing is taking two equations, putting together, finding the value, evaluating them, and now we're putting together to make a whole nother output. Okay, so let me give you another problem like that. So again, like I said, same thing. We'll take 7, I'm going to substitute in for x. This 7 here is going to go substitute in for this x as well. Okay, so we do that out. So it would be g of 7 equals 7 squared minus 4. And then h of 7 equals 4 times 7 minus 3. That's almost like a plus. Sorry about that. Minus 3. All right. So doing that information, 49 minus 4 again, that gives us 44. Okay, g of 7 equals 44. Okay. Now the rest of it, 28 minus 3 is going to give you 25. Okay, so now what we do is we have h of 7. So we have g of 7 plus h of 7 equals 44 plus 25. Then we add both of these together and we're going to get 69. And that will be our final answer. So these are the problems that you're going to see today. Okay, it's just problems like that and basically putting in two different equations and then adding them together. It's a lot of order operations, but I think you guys can handle it. And we'll talk more as we go along in the process, but that's the work for today. Bye now.